When laws start shaping the values in your home, your children's classroom, and future opportunities, I think it's time to pay attention. There are three specific laws that I want to cover today that are trending in mainstream media. I want to go over these specific laws because I believe these laws affect family, they affect higher education, and they also affect future opportunities concerning Americans. Rulings on gender affirming care, the Ten Commandments returning back to the classroom, and also the dismantling of affirmative action and how it affects not only higher education now, but higher education in the future. I'll be talking about these things today, and I will be breaking them down. What are the stats? What's the information? What are the arguments? And also how it affects you and I. So stay with me, and I'll be right back.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always
Hi there, I'm Abby Kay. Welcome to the Creative Leadership Network, known as TCLN, where education is the specialty and solutions are the art. I brought this broadcast together so that we can rise above social, systemic, and spiritual issues that we face every day in our nation. The goal is to help us to do better, get better, and become better. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, make sure that your phone notifications are turned on so that you will not forget to be inspired and to stay informed. So, with that being said, let's jump right in. I think a lot of times we get so caught up in entertainment or we get caught up in our everyday distractions of our lives that we really don't pay attention to what is happening to us around the world, also within our world. We're so distracted about gossip. We love to sit up and know what everybody else's business is, and we don't seem to see what our business is, whether that be international or whether that be in our backyards trying to find out what is the latest case on Diddy. But while everyone is distracted by that type of information, I want to make sure that I elevate you today with a specific type of information that I feel that can be of value to you. It has to do with policy, legislation, and law. These decisions are rewriting the rules that govern identity, education, and equality in America. Let's break down what's happening now, why it matters, and how it can shape choices for your family and for tomorrow opportunities. Just have that conversation. Have that conversation here on TCLN Network in the comment section. Have that conversation at home. Have that conversation with your family. If you have children, your children are going to grow up. Your children are going to be influenced by society. It's just the way it is. They have it in cartoons. I remember being at the hotel not too long ago in South Carolina. I saw them with a big grown man. It was a cartoon, but it was a big grown man. He's supposed to have been a teacher. He had a little pink suit on and a little bow in his head, and there was little kids around. And he was the teacher. So it's in the cartoons, it's being influenced in everything. And you can't shy away from it. You got to have these conversations. And you got to have them. So have them. Okay. Next, moving on to my next subject. Show of hands. Show of hands. How many of you want your children to grow up to be murderers? Liars, thieves, thuggards. Show of hands. Adulterers, fornicators. How many of you sit back and you just imagine, yeah, my child gonna grow up to be a good thief? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want my child to grow up to be just a great liar. Mm-hmm. I want my child to grow up and be doing all these imperfect things that are so imperfect. How many people sit back and dream like that about their children? I don't think any of us do. I think that's why we teach them morals and we teach them values. Am I not correct? So let's get to the 10 Commandments and let's get to it sharply and tightly. Okay. So when I looked at the 10 Commandments, when you really look at the 10 Commandments, I'm going to tell you why people are fighting. So, as you know, this is trending in news about the 10 Commandments. A new Louisiana law requiring the 10 Commandments to be displayed in all public classrooms has sparked legal and ethical debates. An appeals court recently blocked the law, citing constitutional concerns. The 10 Commandments school in schools. Several states are pushing legislation to display the 10 Commandments in public classrooms. While not yet ruled on the Supreme Court, the lower courts are already seeing challenges that could rise in national level. These cases reflect a broader tension: how to balance individual rights, religious expression, and social equity in pluralistic societies. Now, pluralistic societies. I want you to pay attention to what people are really fighting over. They're not really fighting about the 10 Commandments. If you look at the 10 Commandments is nothing more than universal principles. Don't be out there lying. Don't be bearing false witness against your neighbors. Don't murder, don't kill, don't steal. It's all things that even our current law, if you pay attention, wants us to abide by, right? That's why you can't go to a court of law and be sitting up there lying. You have to swear in. That's why you can't go stealing. If you go stealing, you get in trouble, right? You pay a penalty, right? These commandments, or what we call commandments, are really, let me tell you something, are things that are of human nature and human conscience universally. So, what are people fighting over then, IBK? What is the fight all about? If we all want our children to grow up to be productive citizens and not doing all this foolishness, then what is the fight about? Why these 10 commandments? I'm going to tell you, because one of the scriptures in it, it tells you, thou should not have any other gods before you. Oh, 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 it is the battle of the gods. It is the battle of the religions. It is the battle of what people think should be a God before them and their families and a God before them and their children. Everybody come from different backgrounds, different religions, and that's really the argument when it comes to the 10 Commandments. Now, some people are just villains. They don't care about their commandments. But for the rest of us that we know, whether it's the 10 Commandments in a book or whether it's just a life that we choose to live by personally so we do not get in trouble and so that we can live a good life toward ourselves and toward other human beings, these are just universal principles. I'm going to tell you something. If no one ever read the 10 Commandments, I promise you, these commandments would exist everywhere. They're written up on your conscience. Go over there. You could be way in la la land somewhere. Go over there and take somebody apples and oranges without asking and see how you get treated. Go over there just sleeping with somebody's boyfriend or girlfriend and see how you get treated. You understand? Like, they just universal. It's within us. It's our nature. The only way man can write something in a book is that it first has to be within man. Not first a book, then man. First within man. So law is already within man. And then man takes law out of himself and put it within a book. What man begins to argue over is who God, what God, you know what I'm saying? And who says your God is right? Who says our God is right? Who says your God is wrong? Who says this and this and that? So it's really other things that people argue about versus what's universal. I don't think anyone wants their children to grow up and just be bandits. So that's why at home you teach them, oh no, Johnny, you don't do that. Johnny, you don't walk inside of a store and just pick up something. You know, you're teaching them the commandments. Thou shalt not steal. That's all you're really teaching them. So when it comes to the commandments, guys, I would say have a broader perspective to know and to understand they're just universal principles. They're universal principles. Universal principles. And let me tell you something else. You want to think about the safety of teachers. There are too many teachers in the school who are being beat up by students, who are being disrespected by students, all because we have gotten into a society and in a culture where you just do what you want to do, cuss how you want to cuss, live how you want to live. It's in the music, it's in television, it's in everything. I say it all the time. You can't even watch a cop show without a cop killing all the time, even in the name of justice. The cop has to go shoot somebody. He can't just solve a problem on TV without killing someone. Dang. Even when he has to take down a bad guy, he has to go kill someone. That's not even reality in our everyday society. Cops take down bad guys all day long without killing them, right? So all of these things, murder, killing, all this stuff, lasciviousness, it's just embedded in culture. When you keep breeding a culture like that, you're going to get students who disrespect teachers, teachers who disrespect students. You're going to get law and order taken all out of place, and you're going to have to deal with it puberty to puberty. In other words, pupil to pupil. Because if it's within your culture, it's going to be influenced. But I'm going to give you an example. You remember when we grew up, and every day, I don't know about today, but I knew when we grew up in the 80s, honey, when you got in that classroom and that bell rung, you better been sitting down, or you was gonna be counted on your report card as being what? Tardy, right? And that would go to your parents, right? So your parents would know how many times you were tardy, how many bad grades you were making. Like, remember, these were report cards you would send back. Everything's electronic now, but you would have to take, and it's so funny how they would do it. You would have to take these report cards home to your parents. In other words, you got to look at them and give it to them. So if you had an F, you was already dreading it. If you was tardy, you was already dreading it, right? You had to take it there. Now I'm pretty sure they just electronically email it to the parents or whatever, right? Now remember back then we used to have to be in a classroom, you couldn't be tardy, and when the bell rung, you stood up every day. I'm going to say something to you that I haven't said in years, but because it was so ingrained, it's almost like you can't forget it. You put your hand over your chest, your right hand over your chest, and you look at the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. As you notice, I'm not reading the script, honey. I'm looking dead at you. And to the, let me say it again. I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That's how much it's ingrained. So every day when you're teaching your children these principles, I would ask you to have a broader scope when you're thinking about the commandments. Don't think about whose religion it is. Think about it as universal principles. And think about it, it is very much needed. It's needed between teacher and child. It's needed between pupil to pupil. It's needed between parent and child. It's needed between law and order. It is very much needed. I close out with that, on that note. And with that, we're going to get to my next subject, baby, and we are out of here. Now, affirmative action in higher education, you guys. You made it to the end. Blessings, blessings, blessings. I am so glad that you stayed to the end. Also, I hope with all of my heart that you were able to be inspired and you were informed, that you found something out of today's broadcast that resonated with you and that you can take within your life and within your journey. With that being said, do not forget to support at my GoFundMe. Also, check out my bookstore at Preeminent Good Books Publishing. In demand leadership is a concept that I came up with because, after all, I don't care where you are in this world, what you do. The aim is to make sure we're getting better, brighter, and bolder. We do that through lifting one another out of systemic, social, and spiritual issues that affect us daily. Thank you so much. And as my favorite childhood reporter would say, courage, my friends, courage. Until next time, bye, you guys.